In the vast expanse of the Andromeda Arm, the Galactic Council's emergency beacon pulsed with unprecedented urgency. Supreme Commander Zixtal of the Meridian Empire stared at the quantum display, his crystalline form reflecting the red warning lights that filled the chamber. Something unprecedented had occurred. Earth, the beating heart of galactic innovation for the past century, had gone completely dark. The loss wasn't gradual. There was no degradation of signal, no warning signs. One moment, the quantum channels buzzed with the usual cacophony of human communication. Research data, trade negotiations, cultural exchanges. And the next, absolute silence. It was as if someone had drawn a void curtain around the entire solar system. "Report," Zixtal commanded, his voice resonating through the crystal chambers of the Council's emergency session. First observer Kavina, her bioluminescent tentacles dimmed with concern, projected the latest data streams. "The quantum silence is absolute, Supreme Commander. No communications, no quantum signatures, not even the basic position beacons required by galactic law. Earth has essentially disappeared from our networks." The implications were staggering. Since humanity's entrance into the galactic community 70 years ago, they had become the driving force behind the quantum revolution. Human ingenuity had transformed ancient alien technologies into something new, something unprecedented. Their quantum communications network had become the backbone of galactic civilization, their innovations spreading faster than light itself through the cosmos. The humans wouldn't simply go dark. Ambassador Thrax of the Centauri Collective growled, his scaled hide shifting colors with agitation. Not without reason. "They're planning something." Zixtal considered this. The humans had always been unpredictable, but their actions typically followed a peculiar logic. They were innovators, dreamers, but also pragmatists. This silence was deliberately engineered. In the 3 centuries since the Galactic Council's formation, no civilization had ever attempted a complete communications blackout. The risks were too great, the potential for misunderstanding too high. Yet humans had always defied conventional wisdom. "Launch the Sentinel probes," Zixtal ordered. "Full spectrum analysis. I want to know what's happening in that system." As the order transmitted across the quantum network, activity erupted across the galaxy. The Meridian Empire's sleek, crystalline ships emerged from their docking stations. The Centauri Collective's organic vessels pulsed with nervous energy. Even the reclusive Axiom consciousness diverted its vast computational arrays toward Earth's last known coordinates. On the edges of human space, the first unusual readings began to appear. The quantum void wasn't just blocking communications, it was affecting space itself. Probe after probe reported spatial distortions unlike anything in the Council's archives. "Supreme Commander," Kagana's voice wavered, her tentacles now blazing with alarm. "We're detecting energy signatures. Impossible energy signatures." The humans. They found something. The chamber erupted in chaos as the readings filtered through. The quantum void wasn't just a communications blackout. It was containing something that defied the known laws of physics. "Lock down all approaching vectors," Zixtal commanded, his crystalline form humming with tension. "No ships in or out of human space until we understand what we're dealing with." But even as the order went out, reports began flooding in from across the galaxy. The quantum void was spreading, not like a wave, but appearing instantaneously at seemingly random points across space. And at each point, the same impossible energy signatures flared to life. The humans hadn't gone silent. They hadn't retreated. They were transforming, and the galaxy could only watch in mounting awe and terror as humanity's latest innovation began to unfold. In the dark between the stars, ancient sensors long dormant began to pulse with new life. The humans had found something that had waited eons for the right civilization to claim it. And now, in their typical fashion, they were testing it in the most audacious way possible, by risking everything. As the first day of silence stretched into the second, the galaxy held its breath. The humans had always been known for their surprises, their capacity to turn conventional wisdom on its head. But this time, they weren't just pushing boundaries. They were rewriting them. And in the heart of human space, hidden behind the quantum void, Earth's greatest minds worked feverishly at their most ambitious project yet. They had found it buried beneath the ice of Europa, the key to something beyond quantum mechanics, beyond the known laws of physics. The silence wasn't an end. It was a beginning. And the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Rena Vakos of the Centauri Expeditionary Fleet had seen her share of human peculiarities over her long career, but nothing like this. Her organic ship, the Starweaver, hovered at the edge of the expanding quantum void, its sensory tendrils recoiling from the impossible readings they encountered. Another probe lost. Her second-in-command reported, the ship's neural interface transmitting his unease. That's the seventh one. Whatever the humans are doing in there, they don't want anyone watching. Rena's scaled fingers traced the holographic representation of Earth's solar system, now obscured by the mysterious quantum distortion. The void hadn't just blocked communications. It was actively rejecting any attempt at penetration. Probes disappeared. Sensors malfunctioned. Even the most sophisticated quantum scanning equipment returned nothing but gibberish. The humans have always been clever, she mused, but this is beyond clever. This is impossible. The Starweaver's organic computers processed the latest data streams, trying to make sense of the fragments they could gather. The quantum void wasn't just a barrier. It was changing the fundamental properties of space-time around it. Physics itself seemed to bend and twist at the edges of the distortion. Admiral, her science officer called out, his bioluminescent patterns flashing with excitement. We're detecting something new. The void. It's resonating with something. Something old. The display shifted, showing a pattern that made Rena's scales bristle. The quantum void wasn't random. It was following a design, a blueprint that predated the Galactic Council itself. The humans hadn't just discovered something. They had awakened it. Across the galaxy, other alien civilizations were making similar discoveries. The Meridian Empire's crystalline supercomputers detected patterns in the void that matched ancient legends of the first ones, beings who had supposedly mastered the art of reality manipulation. The Axiom consciousness found correlations between the void's behavior and theoretical models of universe-spanning megastructures. But it was the archivists of the Eternal Library who made the most startling connection. Deep in their quantum-encoded records, they found references to something called the network, a hypothetical system that could rewrite the laws of physics themselves. The records were fragmentary, warnings more than instructions, speaking of power too vast for any single species to control. All ships, maintain position. Rena ordered as more vessels from various civilizations arrived at the void's edge. We're dealing with forces we barely understand. The gathered fleet was the largest assembly of alien ships since the Great Convergence, representatives from every major civilization, drawn by the mystery of humanity's silence. But none dared venture too close to the void. The humans had always been unpredictable, but this was different. This was primal. In her private quarters, Rena reviewed historical records of humanity's first contact with the galactic community. They had seemed so primitive then, barely able to achieve faster-than-light travel, but they had brought something unique to the galaxy. An insatiable curiosity, a drive to push boundaries that the older races had long ago abandoned. Admiral, her neural link pulsed with urgent information. We're detecting movement within the void. Something's changing. The gathered fleet watched in collective awe as patterns began to emerge in the quantum distortion. They weren't random. They were mathematical, precise, forming equations that seemed to describe new laws of physics. The humans weren't just hiding. They were rewriting reality itself. Emergency sessions of the Galactic Council convened as the implications became clear. The humans had found something the ancient races had feared to use, something that could change the very nature of existence, and in typical human fashion, they were testing it without fully understanding the consequences. Look at these patterns, Rena's science officer marveled. They're not just changing space, they're creating new rules for how it works. The humans have found a way to edit the universe itself. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled fleet. Every civilization had legends of the first ones, beings who had shaped reality before disappearing into myth. But none had ever imagined that humans, the galaxy's youngest spacefaring race, would be the ones to rediscover their secrets. As the second week of silence began, the void continued to pulse with new patterns. Each one revealed more of what the humans had discovered. A system for manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe, a technology so advanced it appeared as magic even to civilizations millions of years old. But with each new pattern came new dangers. The void was stable, but the space around it was becoming increasingly unpredictable. Reality itself seemed to flex and bend at the edges of the distortion, as if the humans' experiments were testing the very fabric of existence. Rena knew then that they weren't just witnessing a scientific breakthrough. They were watching the birth of something new, something that would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The humans, in their reckless, brilliant way, were about to transform everything. And in the darkness between stars, ancient machines stirred to life, responding to changes they had waited eons to detect. The humans hadn't just found a tool, they had started a chain reaction that would awaken forces long dormant in the cosmic deep. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the vast chamber beneath Europa's ice, her breath misting in the frigid air. The Discovery team had named it the Nexus, though that hardly captured the magnitude of what they'd found. The chamber walls pulsed with lines of light that defied analysis, forming patterns that seemed to shift between dimensions. The quantum signature is stable, her colleague, Dr. James Rodriguez, reported from his station. The void is holding. His voice echoed through the chamber, mixing with the low hum that emanated from the ancient technology surrounding them. The discovery had been accidental, a routine ice core sample that revealed something impossible. Beneath Europa's frozen surface lay a network of chambers, perfectly preserved for millions of years. But it wasn't their existence that had shocked humanity into silence. It was what they contained. Another pattern sequence incoming, called out Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The translation matrix is at 97% completion. The patterns weren't just decorative. They were instructions, a manual written in the language of physics itself. The first ones, as the alien records had called them, hadn't left behind traditional technology. They had left something far more profound, a way to rewrite the fundamental laws of the universe. "We're getting feedback from the primary node," Sarah announced, studying the readings. "The network is responding exactly as the translations predicted. We're actually doing it. We're learning how to speak the language of reality itself." The decision to maintain the quantum silence hadn't been easy. Earth's leaders had known the risks of cutting off all communication with the galactic community. But the alternative was worse. If knowledge of what they'd found leaked before they understood it, before they could protect it, the consequences would be catastrophic. In the months since the discovery, humanity had learned more about the nature of the universe than in all its previous history combined. The first ones hadn't built machines in the conventional sense. They had created systems that could alter the very fabric of space-time, tools that could reshape reality according to mathematical principles humanity was only beginning to grasp. "Look at this," James called out, projecting a new set of equations into the air. "These aren't just instructions for using the network. They're warnings about what happens if it's used incorrectly. The first ones weren't just leaving us technology. They were leaving us a responsibility." The chamber hummed in response, as if acknowledging the weight of his words. The network wasn't just a tool, it was a test. The first ones had seeded these chambers throughout the galaxy, waiting for species advanced enough to find them, but wise enough to use them properly. "Another void fluctuation," Yuki reported. "The alien fleets are still gathering. They must be getting desperate for answers." Sarah understood their concern. From the outside, it must seem like humanity had gone mad, or worse, hostile. But they couldn't risk interference, not now. The network was too delicate, too important. One mistake, one misaligned quantum signature, and they could tear reality apart. "The translation matrix is showing something new," James said suddenly, his voice tight with excitement. "These patterns, they're not just about manipulating space-time. They're about evolution, consciousness evolution." The revelation stunned the chamber into silence. The first ones hadn't just created a way to reshape physics. They had designed a system to reshape consciousness itself. The network wasn't just a tool for changing the universe. It was a path to changing those who would use it. "That's why the void was necessary," Sarah whispered, understanding dawning. "The quantum silence isn't just hiding our work. It's part of the process. We needed to be cut off, to be forced to think in new ways, to evolve." The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just stumbled upon advanced technology. They had found a graduation test, a challenge left behind by beings who had transcended normal existence. The network was both key and gate, tool and teacher. Deep in the chamber, new patterns began to form, responding to humanity's growing understanding. They weren't just learning to use the network. They were becoming part of it. Each new insight, each breakthrough, brought them closer to something profound. "The void is changing," Yuki announced, her voice filled with wonder. "Look at these readings. It's not just blocking communication anymore. It's transforming. The patterns we're creating here are being reflected in the void itself." Sarah watched as new data streamed across her displays. The quantum void wasn't just a barrier, it was a cocoon. Inside it, humanity was undergoing a metamorphosis, guided by the ancient wisdom of the first ones. They were becoming something new, something that could shoulder the responsibility of universe-altering power. And in orbit above Europa, in ships across the solar system, other humans watched and waited, maintaining the silence that protected their species' greatest discovery. They knew the risks, understood the fear they were causing in the galactic community, but they also knew that what they had found was worth any price. The first ones had left them a legacy, a path to becoming something greater. And humanity, with its characteristic determination, had chosen to walk that path, regardless of the consequences. The first changes were subtle. In the nexus beneath Europa's ice, Dr. Sarah Chen noticed it in the way equations now flowed through her mind like water, complex mathematical concepts unfolding with intuitive clarity. Around her, other members of the research team were experiencing similar transformations. Dr. Rodriguez no longer needed his holographic displays. He could visualize the network's patterns directly in his mind's eye. "The integration is accelerating," Dr. Tanaka reported, her voice carrying a new resonance that seemed to echo through multiple dimensions. "We're not just understanding the network anymore. We're becoming part of it." Throughout the solar system, other humans were beginning to feel the effects. The quantum void that had isolated Earth wasn't just containing their secret. It was acting as a conductor, spreading the network's influence across the entire human population. People were awakening to new awareness, new capabilities that defied conventional understanding. In orbit around Mars, Captain Maya Patel of the Earth Defense Fleet watched as her crew developed abilities that would have seemed impossible weeks ago. Engineers could intuitively grasp the quantum principles that powered their ships. Navigators could sense the fabric of space-time, plotting courses through dimensions that had previously been theoretical. Another ship reporting in, her communications officer announced, his consciousness now able to interface directly with the quantum systems. The Galileo's crew has completed their transition. All Earth vessels are now operating at full quantum integration. The transformation wasn't just physical or mental. It was fundamental, reaching into the very essence of what it meant to be human. The network they had discovered wasn't simply a tool left behind by the first ones. It was a catalyst designed to elevate suitable species to a new level of existence. In the Nexus, Sarah watched as new patterns emerged in the ancient chamber, responding to humanity's evolution. "We're starting to see the bigger picture," she said, her consciousness expanding to encompass multiple layers of reality. The first ones didn't disappear, they transcended, and they left this network as a path for others to follow. The quantum void surrounding Earth began to pulse with new energy as humanity's collective consciousness grew. They weren't just learning to manipulate reality. They were learning to understand it on a fundamental level. The laws of physics weren't rules to be followed, but guidelines to be understood and, when necessary, rewritten. The alien fleets are detecting the changes, Maya reported from her command post. Their sensors are picking up energy signatures they've never seen before. We need to decide how to proceed. The decision wouldn't be easy. Humanity was becoming something new, something unprecedented in the known galaxy. The power they now wielded could reshape worlds, create or destroy on a scale that would terrify their galactic neighbors. But with that power came understanding, an awareness of the responsibility they now held. Deep in the chambers of the Nexus, the research team gathered for what they knew would be a historic moment. The network had prepared them, transformed them, and now it was time to demonstrate what humanity had become. "Begin the sequence," Sarah commanded, her consciousness merging with the ancient systems. Around her, the other researchers joined their minds with hers, forming a collective awareness that spanned the solar system. The quantum void began to shift, its opaque barrier becoming translucent as new patterns emerge. The alien fleets watching from the edge of the solar system would soon see something unprecedented, humanity's first step as a transcendent species. "We're ready," James announced, his voice carrying echoes of multiple realities. "The network is fully integrated with our consciousness. We can begin the demonstration." The chamber hummed with power as they initiated the sequence. This wasn't just about showing off their new abilities. It was about proving they could handle the responsibility that came with them. The first ones had left them this legacy for a reason, and now they would show they were worthy of it. Space itself began to ripple as humanity exerted its new powers. The quantum void wasn't disappearing. It was transforming, becoming a window into possibilities that the watching alien civilizations had never imagined. Through it, they would see what humanity had become. "Signal from the defense fleet," Yuki reported. "All ships are in position. The entire solar system is ready for synchronized quantum manipulation." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. They were about to reveal themselves to the galaxy, not as the young, impetuous species they had been, but as something new, inheritors of the first one's legacy, guardians of reality itself. "Initialize the demonstration," she commanded, her consciousness reaching out to touch the fabric of space-time. Around her, throughout the solar system, humanity moved as one, ready to show the galaxy what they had become. The universe held its breath as the transformation began. Humanity wasn't just breaking their silence. They were about to change everything. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would they. The quantum void shimmered like a soap bubble stretched across the solar system, its surface rippling with patterns that defied conventional physics. Admiral Renovakos and the gathered alien fleet watched in stunned silence as the barrier began to change, becoming transparent in places, revealing glimpses of what lay within. What they saw defied explanation. The human solar system had been transformed. Impossible structures hung in space, geometric patterns that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Earth's fleet had changed too. Their ships now moved through space in ways that violated every known law of physics. This is humanity speaking to all gathered species. A collective voice resonated through every communication system, bypassing traditional quantum channels. "We are ready to share what we have become." The voice wasn't just sound. It carried understanding, allowing every alien species to comprehend exactly what had happened during Earth's silence. The network, the first one's legacy, humanity's transformation. All of it flowed into their consciousness with perfect clarity. In the nexus beneath Europa's ice, Dr. Sarah Chen and her team guided the demonstration. Their consciousness, now expanded beyond physical limitations, reached out to show the galaxy what humanity had discovered. "We invite you to witness," they communicated, and reality itself seemed to flex. The alien fleet watched as a human ship demonstrated their new capabilities. It didn't just move through space. It rewrote the laws of physics around itself, creating corridors of altered reality that allowed for instantaneous travel across vast distances. But this wasn't just about showing off new technology. The first ones left the network as a gift, humanity explained, their collective consciousness reaching out to share their understanding. Not just for us, but for all species ready to take the next step in evolution. Supreme Commander Zixtal of the Meridian Empire watched as his crystalline form resonated with new understanding. The humans hadn't gone silent out of fear or aggression. They had cocooned themselves to protect the galaxy during their transformation. Now they were emerging not as conquerors, but as guides. The network exists in multiple locations throughout the galaxy. Humanity revealed. We can help you find them, help you prepare for your own evolution. But the choice must be yours. The demonstration continued as humanity showed what was possible. They created spaces where the speed of light was merely a suggestion, regions where consciousness could expand beyond physical limitations, zones where reality could be reshaped according to mathematical principles that were both precise and beautiful. But more impressive than the display of power was the display of wisdom. Humanity had gained the ability to reshape reality itself, yet they chose to use it not for dominance, but for elevation. They had become living proof that power and responsibility could coexist. We offer partnership, they proclaimed. Not submission, not dominance, but genuine collaboration. The first ones believed that the galaxy would need many transcendent species, not just one. They were right. The alien fleet's sensors recorded everything, but it was their consciousness that truly grasped the magnitude of what they were witnessing. Humanity had become something new, something that existed between the physical and the metaphysical, and they were offering to help others achieve the same. In the heart of the Galactic Council's emergency session, representatives from every major civilization watched the demonstration through their quantum feeds. The humans had done the impossible. They had not only survived their transformation, but had emerged with their essential nature intact. Their curiosity, their drive to explore and understand, had been enhanced rather than replaced. The silence is over, humanity announced. But the real work is just beginning. The galaxy is larger and more wonderful than any of us imagined. It's time we explored it together. The quantum void began to dissolve, not with a dramatic flash, but with a gentle fade, like morning mist giving way to sunlight. As it cleared, it revealed a solar system transformed. Earth and its colonies had become a living demonstration of what was possible when technology and consciousness evolved together. Admiral Renavekos watched as her ship's sensors tried to make sense of what they were recording. The humans had rewritten the rules, but they hadn't broken them. They had found a way to transcend limitations while respecting the fundamental harmony of the universe. We stand at a threshold. Humanity's collective voice resonated one final time. The first ones showed us the way, but they left the journey to us. We invite you to walk this path with us. As the last traces of the quantum void disappeared, the galaxy found itself facing a new dawn. Humanity had emerged from its chrysalis not as a threat to be feared, but as a beacon of possibility. They had proven that evolution didn't have to mean losing one's essence, that power didn't have to corrupt, and that the greatest discoveries were those shared with others. In the nexus beneath Europa's ice, Sarah smiled as she felt the ripples of understanding spread through the galaxy. The silence had served its purpose. Now it was time for something new. A symphony of species working together to explore the true nature of reality itself. The universe, they had discovered, was far more magnificent than anyone had imagined. And humanity, transformed but still fundamentally human, was ready to help guide the galaxy into a new age of discovery and wonder.